Hello, this is the trade site Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Saturday, May 3rd, 2015, ending Friday the 18th. Hope you had a good trading week. We closed out the week with a almost 200 pip winner on the pound dollar on Thursday night going into Friday, and so it was a good week for us. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. We talked 3 weeks ago about that 13 sell signal. Been doing nothing but selling off ever since. Talked about the red line being the static trend line target of that move. We've already come very close to it, so we'll see if we can still hit it this week. We're only 7 bars down towards a reversal setup off at that level. Let's look at our major pairs, and then we'll look at the intra-week action, and then we'll look at what's coming ahead this next week. So here's the euro dollar. Looks just the inverse of the dollar index, obviously, in this case, almost back to its own green static trend line. Here's the pound dollar, where we made the money on Thursday into Friday. You can see the big move down that we caught on the short side, but look at the way we came up and exactly hit the green static trend line there. Couldn't get a close above it. Here's the Aussie dollar. Also came back a bit the second half of the week. New Zealand dollar kept staging under that green static trend line and never got through. And the pound yen also had a static trend line. Remember, this is a cross pair, so this is not about the dollar index itself. Look how it came right up to that static trend line. So the static trend lines are super important in trading, give you a real good target and potential reversal point. All right, let's take a look at what the euro and the pound did intra-week. We'll look at 30-minute bars so we can see the whole week. Opened flat, and Monday was fairly flat in general on the euro. Tuesday, we finally got a little move up. Wednesday, we did have the Fed announcement, and that didn't even do that much. Market had already kind of moved. Thursday, we did have some range on Wednesday. Thursday, another day with some decent range, and then Friday, not much on the euro. Meanwhile, on the pound, I should add, by the way, before we move on, the range for the week on the euro was about 420 pips, which is pretty good. On the pound, the range for the week was also about 450 pips. No, I'm sorry, 350 pips, but we did really well at the pound. A little more action on Monday. Tuesday also up after a little gap down on some news and then reversed. Wednesday did see the swing that we saw in the euro also. Thursday had a decent down day, and then Friday we caught that big move down. So it was a real nice setup for us on the pound. All right. Let's take a look at what we have coming out this week in terms of economic data so we know what we need to be aware of. Sunday, bank holiday in Japan to start the week, or that's Monday in Japan. MI inflation gauge out of Australia, New Zealand's commodity prices, Australia's building approvals, China's HSBC final manufacturing PMI. We've got a bank holiday in the UK on Monday as well. So we're going to have a light start, half-size session for us. We'll be half-size in our trades with UK and Japan closed. Spanish manufacturing PMI, Switzerland's manufacturing PMI, same with Italy and France and Germany and the European one. Centex investor confidence, U.S. factory orders in the morning, Fed member speaking, and then we've got the AIG services index out of Australia. Japan has a bank holiday also on Tuesday. We get a rate announcement and trade balance out of Australia. Spanish unemployment rate out of Europe going into Tuesday morning here in the U.S. PPI out of Europe, U.S. Trade balance and Canadian trade balance. That's one of our big three, the U.S. number there, so we'll be half size ahead of that as well. So the first 2 days of the week, half size. We don't like to go full size ahead of news because it tends to cause spikes that are untradeable. Final services PMI here in the U.S., ISM non-manufacturing PMI, the IBD tip economic optimism number, New Zealand's employment change and unemployment rate and labor cost index, bank holiday out of Japan, 3 days in a row. Wow, got to look into what that is, huh? Retail sales out of Australia, HSBC services. I want a 3-day holiday here in the U.S. We don't ever do that. China, HSBC services PMI. Going into Wednesday, Spanish, Italian, French, German, and European broad sector final services PMI data, along with the same out of the UK. Retail sales out of Europe. We've got the ADP non-farm employment change here in the U.S., preliminary non-farm productivity, unit labor cost, Fed Chair Yellen speaking. We've got the IB PMI number out of Canada, crude oil inventories here in the U.S., that's the weekly number. AIG construction index out of Australia, Japan finally going to work, monetary base releases, not a holiday. Australia employment change and unemployment rate. Thursday, Swiss SECO consumer climate, German factory orders, French industrial production and trade balance, foreign currency reserves out of Switzerland, retail PMI out of Europe. We've got the elections in the UK, Spanish 10-year bond auction, challenger job cuts here out of the U.S., the weekly unemployment claims here in the U.S., the weekly natural gas storage number, consumer credit here in the afternoon in the U.S., monetary policy minutes from the last meeting in Japan, statement out of the Bank of Australia, trade balance out of China going into Friday, unemployment rate out of Switzerland. France goes on holiday for Friday. German industrial production and trade balance, CPI out of Switzerland. Italian industrial production, trade balance out of the UK, that's a big one for the pound. Housing starts, unemployment rate out of Canada. US also our unemployment rate. So this is another one of our big three. So we'll be half size ahead of Monday, Tuesday, and Friday this week because of data and holidays. Wholesale inventories, and then China releases their CPI and PPI Friday night. It's a strange time for that. So the only two full-size trading days of the week will be going into Wednesday and Thursday. Does seem to be a lot going on. Hopefully that'll keep the volatility up. 400 pips range on the euro and pound for the week is good. You can make good money in that. We will be in the lab as usual helping you make money. If you want to come by, charts brought to you by eSignal. Have a great trading week.